Today is the 5th of October. It is 1800 hours. I'm going to make a public service announcement video today. And this is for my buddy Paul. See that, buddy? Now, why am I doing that? Well, I have had 3 eye surgeries since July on this eye for a detached retina. It took 3 times. My retina kept detaching. And this was my 3rd attempt 2 weeks ago. My eye is filled with a silicone gel that has to stay there for 6 months to a year. I have been driving and functioning with one good eye since July. It's you don't want to go through this. Going through it once is bad enough. To go through it 3 times in a row, the trauma it does to your eye is astronomical. And the 3rd time they did this surgery, it was only 2 weeks after the second one. What they do is they drain the fluid in your eye, they fill it up with nitrous oxide, and they use a laser to reattach the retina back to the back of the eye. The back of your eye is like the tissue in the back of your eye, and your retina is more like brain tissue. It takes a year to heal. It's nerve tissue. The surface of your eye generally heals within 24 hours. The other problem is with this is every time they do this type of surgery, you can expect an acceleration in cataracts. So I'm going to have to have a cataract removed from this eye within a year to 5 years. But that's not what I wanted to talk. Well, I wanted to talk about that. But here's the important thing. I was having symptoms of a detached retina before I noticed it. And that's what I want to get across. What I was doing is I saw floaters in my eye. Like I would look against the sky when I'd be out checking my purple martins, and it looked like I had more martins in the distance than I really had. Martins fly around your head, and they kind of go out a little bit, and I would see a lot of little smaller dots in the distance, which I thought were more martins than I had. That's the first thing I noticed. I didn't pay much attention to it because you get floaters in your eye, but there's an increasing amount of them, and they are darker. Remember that. The second symptom I had was I had one particular floater that was in my peripheral vision that I always thought was a fly on my window or a fly on the wall. It was driving me crazy. I thought nothing of it. And what that is, it's little pieces of tissue that are coming out, that are shedding because your retina is starting to go. If I went in at that moment, the odds are that I would have had it fixed with a minimal amount of issues. But what happened is I eventually had a dark line drop down onto my face. And it was like I was wearing glasses. And if anybody wears glasses, when you have your rim drops to a certain level, you always lift them up on your nose, you lift it up. I noticed that I was having an issue. And I was in surgery the next day. What makes it so terrible is when they do this, they suck the fluid out of your eye, they fill it with nitrous oxide, which is a gas, and you got to wait for 2 weeks for that bubble to go away. It holds your eye, your retina in place, and you have to stay face down. You have to sleep face down. If you get up, you have to keep your head down. And in my case, I form scar tissue so quickly, I heal so quickly that it's like putting a fitted bed sheet on that it's so tight on one side that it pops off on the other. So the second operation, they put what's called a buckle in your eye to reshape your eye and to hold your eye into place. My retina tore almost within 2 weeks of it. The gas bubble wasn't even gone yet. I can't explain the amount of discomfort and the pain that eye surgery gives. And the buckle, oh, it's horrible. Now, like I said, I've had it done 3 times, and my eye is so traumatized that, and like I said, this is gonna be in for about 2 weeks. My eye, now the doctor, I just came back from the doctor. He told me it looks better than he even expected. Supernatural healing. Now, here is the part that some of you are not going to like, or some might like, depending on what your persuasion is. And I'm being kind of brutally honest here. I let my insurance lapse because I wanted to get ahead of some credit card bills that I managed to do. First time in my life, I put myself in debt when I never did. So I figured I'd save, money if I got rid of my health insurance and pay off these bills, and I'd renew again this coming year. Well, this is eye surgery. This is medical. This is not going to the optometrist where you get glasses. I can afford glasses anytime. This falls under medical insurance, which I didn't have. Talk about these three eye surgeries. They come to well over $20,000. I can take a hit for one. I can pay for one eye surgery. I can't pay for 3. So I decided, and the whole time this is going on, I'm praying to God the Father through Jesus Christ. I'm hoping for a miracle that my eye is going to be healed miraculously. That doesn't happen the first time. It doesn't happen the second time. And the third time is downright, talk about being spiritually, mentally kind of broke when you realize you're going to be blind in one eye. Well, it's devastating. And to take the financial hit that I was taking, even more so, because, well, here I'm praying for a miracle, and I'm praying for a miracle financially. And it's me. I've been bitter lately because I've started adding up all the money that I've loaned to people over the years. One person I loaned $18,000 to about 30 years ago and never saw a dime of it. Ex-fiance, $1,400 to help her out with some homeowner's insurance. Never saw a dime of it. Ex-girlfriend, $3,000, even though she's living with a guy. And she comes to me for help for whatever reason it was. And I was generous enough to give her $3,000. And I've been trying to, and then I have another friend. $5, $6, $7, $8,000. He's actually has given me money over the years, but that's 10 years ago. I haven't seen any of that. Then I started thinking about more people that I was generous to, because I was in a position where I felt I could help financially, and I helped financially. I had it to give at the time. But when you try to get it back, when you need it, they're not there. Your calls go unanswered and ignored. And I don't understand how people do that, because I've always paid back my debts to people. Always. Always. I'll borrow till I'm blue in the face to pay back any debt. Well, anyway, so I called the doctor up today to get on to Care Credit, find out what my bill is going to be total. I called them up. My bill is $19.22. Not $20,000. $19.22. I said, this has got to be a mistake. Something's wrong here. They said, no, it's $19. I said, why is it? I've had 3 operations I had to pay out of pocket for. The doctor knew that I was self-pay. This doctor knew that I was self-pay. And he decided to show mercy to me. I want you to think about this. Now, there's some people who say, oh, that's just a man. He didn't have to do that. And the clinic itself, not just him personally, his fee, but also the organization waived the fee, waived the amount of money. $19.22. So the second part of this video, the second thing is I want to give this testimony. That no matter how dark the day may be, the prayer was heard. The people that prayed for me, it was heard. And God answered that prayer totally unexpectedly. I didn't expect it at all. Big shock to me today. Huge shock. And I'm not ashamed to admit this. I broke down in tears of joy and dropped on my knees in my kitchen and raised my hands to heaven and praised God for what he has done. So I don't care what people think of me. I never did. And I may not act like a Christian sometimes when I make these videos. But God allows us to go through horrible things sometimes so he can show himself strong. And that your faith can be built and you can have a testimony. As the word of God says, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, being Jesus, and our testimony. And you just don't have one testimony, you have testimonies in life. And this is just one that I can publicly say. And this is my way of publicly putting it out there to the world, that the Lord worked through the circumstances. And the doctors looked at my eye and said, it looks absolutely amazing. So I'm going to stand on faith that this time is going to work. And for whatever reason, I had to go through this. And I was thinking today when I left this place that I have to give God the credit and the glory for this all. For the financial part of it. And for using this particular doctor. And for the healing that I am expecting with this eye. But as I was thinking about this, my whole point was this. If you can catch these retinal tears beforehand, you don't have to go through this. So look for those symptoms. Pay attention. If you have one eye that's got more floaters than you normally see, it's a normal thing to see a few floaters. And the way I can describe it, look up in the blue sky and notice if you see a flock of birds in the distance that are kind of spaced, not close together, but spaced further apart. And you realize it's not a flock of birds, or if there is a fly on the wall or a fly in your window in your peripheral vision, and no matter where you move, it just kind of stays. Pay attention to that. If you see that, get to the eye doctor. Get to the eye doctor quickly, because they can patch that up minimally without having, because when your retina goes, it's like somebody pulling a shade down on your eye, and you may see a little dark thing. And for me, it would be like in the eye, it was just up in the corner, just a little. It would go away if I looked at the sun or looked at bright light. It would go away, and if it was dark, it would look back. It'd be bright like a negative imprint. That's when it's already tearing apart. It's already coming across your vision. If I got it before then, I wouldn't be going through all this. So pay attention to your eyes. Pay attention to that. Now, I am told statistically that my good eye is at risk. This eye is prone. Now I have to say this eye is the weaker eye as far as the glasses go. Stigmatism. So maybe that adds something new to it. And the other thing is, this might be a long-term effect of COVID, because I had COVID back in May. And I've completely recovered from that, though it has messed with my sense of taste. But it might have messed with my eye too. Nobody knows. One of the things I've learned about COVID is everybody seems to handle it differently, and there's different side effects. It has messed with my fingernails. I got a line of where the nail was in the nail bed, where it was interrupted with growing, and it's in my toenails too. So be aware of your eyes. Pay attention to it. And don't ignore it like I did. I just thought it was just normal. I know what to look for now in case it starts to happen with this eye. But I hope that this will Be of value to somebody else. And I might as well lay it out there while I'm here. If you don't know who Jesus is, or you don't believe Jesus is, why don't you ask him to reveal himself to you? Ask him to reveal himself to you, and don't ignore his voice, and don't ignore the call. He says a man must be born again, born of the Spirit, not of flesh. Because Jesus offers what nobody else offers. He offers eternal life, but he also offers, in this world you will have troubles, but fear not, for I have overcome the world. You want the one that can overcome the world to be with you. It isn't saving you from problems, because there actually probably will be more when he's there. There will be more problems, but he gives you the strength and the courage to overcome, and he builds your faith. So come to Christ. Get to know who he is. That's important. And once again, I give him thanks, and I give thanks to the doctor for being motivated by mercy. Show mercy, so mercy will be shown to you. So maybe that was the payback from all the people who really have not honored their word or honored their debt. God honors. God will honor his debts. Till next time.